I started traveling to this region in the 90s as a journalist, and I was encountering these two parallel realities, an Armenian version of reality and an Azerbaijani version of reality. They couldn't be both right. They could, however, be both wrong. And I was started to look for the literature to read to understand this conflict, and I couldn't find anything in English which dealt with sources on both sides. And eventually I sort of decided to write the book I wanted to read, and Black Garden is the result. The problem with this conflict is that it's not Cyprus. It's not a conflict where the positions will freeze, the political dispute will continue, and no one will go back to war. This is unfortunately an unstable conflict. There's a ceasefire line which runs through almost 200 miles. There's 20,000 troops on either side of it. Large parts of what's recognized as the international territory of Azerbaijan is still under Armenian control, and Azerbaijan, which is now a strong, rich oil state, is not going to recognize that. There are shooting incidents across the front line. So this is a dispute which has every potential at some point in the future to re-erupt into a proper hot conflict, which is why I believe the term frozen conflict is rather misleading. I think the major change over the last 10 years has been the rise of Azerbaijan as a major oil and gas power due to the Caspian Sea energy resources. When I first visited Azerbaijan in 1995, its GDP was worth just $3 billion. It's now worth more than $70 billion. And Azerbaijan's now spending around $4 billion a year on weapons, which is actually more than the entire Armenian state budget. Now the government says this is not in order to go to war, this is just to kind of pressure the Armenians, to kind of force them into an arms race they can't afford, to kind of win at the negotiating table. But of course the fear is that at some point this arms race, this military build-up becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, even though everyone agrees that it would be crazy and dangerous to have a new war in the Caucasus.